start of a new video, and today is the start of a challenge for me. The plan is that I will be reading the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert, and I also plan to read it in a week. To be honest, I haven't been feeling quite that good lately, just because it's winter time. That's why I need something to bring me a sense of fulfillment, and that is what this challenge is supposed to be doing. So I know that is ambitious, at least for me it is. I know for some people it probably isn't, and they read a book per day, but that is not how I usually read, so this will definitely be a challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to it. I have heard such good things about the series. As I've said in my TBR video, a friend of mine has recommended the series to me as well, and I am excited to start reading these books now. And the first book of the series is actually one that fits my current mood really well. It is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. And this book is about Chloe, and she has a list that hopefully helps her to get a life. And that's what I'm trying to do as well, so maybe I can even take something away from this. I haven't started reading this book yet, but I'm going to start right now. Hello, so I just came back from the gym and I listened to the audiobook of Get a Life, Chloe Brown on my way there, and I also tried listening to it in the gym, but unfortunately the music there was really loud. I don't know why they always have to do that. That was why I didn't really listen to it that long, but I also had dinner and continued listening a little bit while I was eating. So right now I'm about 2.5 hours into the audiobook, and to be honest, I'm not really sure if I will enjoy this story yet. I really enjoy the writing style. What I like most about the writing style is that it is so English. It reminds me a lot of a very good friend of mine who is from England. I really enjoy British culture in books and also in real life. What I did like about the book so far is that Chloe is such an untypical main character in a romance novel. She isn't the nice, sweet girl who just tries to please everyone. She can be a bit grumpy at times and closed off, which of course has something to do with her chronic illness and the pain that she's under. So the rep there is also very important and very nice to see. I also have people with chronic illness in my family, so I can not personally relate, but I can empathize with her very well, and I know what chronic illness looks like, and I think it's a very good representation of that. And then we also have the other main character, Red. Yeah, these two don't really get along very well in the beginning, and they are slowly getting to know each other better, but I don't know how the story will continue in a way that will make their relationship interesting. Because I've heard from so many people that this book is good, I have high hopes that there will be more chemistry between these two. And I'm also curious to get to know Redford's character a little bit better, because we have seen some of his character traits come into play, but not as much as Chloe. So yeah, this is my opinion so far. I don't know, I'm a bit hesitant still, but I'm also optimistic that while the book continues, I will grow to enjoy it even more than I do now. So yes, I think I will update you when I'm about 50% into the book. Hello and welcome back. It's Monday today, and I continued listening to Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I'm now 50% in. The exact thing that I wanted to happen, that I told you about in the last clip, is what's happening right now. We are learning a bit more about Red, his past, his work life, just a little bit more about his character, and it's been really interesting so far. I enjoyed a lot. He is an artist and I'm a designer, so that's something that I really enjoy reading about. I enjoy reading about arts and design. I think it's very well done here. Sometimes when authors write about art and making art, it can feel a little bit fabricated. But in this case, I think it's done very well. Talia Hibbert is writing about it in a way that there's still a lot left to your imagination. That's always a good thing, because if you don't make art yourself, I think it's very hard to write about it in a way that feels authentic. So yeah, that was a really enjoyable part about the book so far. And we are also slowly getting to know both of them together. So it's more about them getting to know each other, about their chemistry, and I can feel it now. Also might be because I'm in a better mood. The sun is shining today, weather is beautiful, I'm at work, I'm having fun. It's been a good day so far. I'm at my lunch break right now, and I still have a little bit of time to continue listening to the audiobook and also make myself something to eat, which should be a priority, but sometimes reading is more important. I'm really excited to see where the story is going now. I have a little bit more of a feeling in which direction it could go now, so I'm excited to see how it will play out. And we also already saw a little bit of the two sisters, Dani and Eve, which I always think is a good thing when you get to know the main characters of the next books already, because then you have a connection to them and then it will be much easier to get into the next two books. There are no love interest inside or anything, but still just getting to know them is a good start. Especially because, as far as I understood, they are supposed to have very different character traits from Chloe. So I'm excited to see how their stories will be and if they will be very different from Chloe's. And also which one of them I will enjoy the most in the end. So yeah, I will update you when I have anything interesting to say about the story or when I have finished this book. So I just came back home from work and my Zumba class after that. And I just wanted to give you a quick update on my reading. I have finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown. By the way, it's Wednesday evening today. Yesterday I didn't get much done at all. It was a very busy day with work and everything, and I still had some other things to finish. For example, editing my TBR video, which I'm going to post in a few minutes. The fanciest thing was probably the Zumba class. But I did get some reading done, and I finished Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which I liked more than I expected. The chemistry definitely evolved throughout the book, and I could feel it a little more in the end. There were some really cute scenes between the two main characters. I really enjoyed how they dealt with their past and overcame some of the fears and expectations they had going into a new relationship. But in the end, there was a little bit too much drama for my taste. And I also didn't quite enjoy the audiobook narrator that much. It was just a little bit too quirky, and I don't know. I just couldn't fully picture it in my head the way it was told. But apart from that, I found that it was a really enjoyable listening experience. What I also didn't enjoy as much about the book was that there were some minor things mentioned that just, for me personally, weren't as attractive or something I want to hear about a relationship. For example, there's one scene where Red says to her, "You really need me, don't you?" And this is something that kind of triggers me even as a person without any disabilities or without any chronic illnesses. And if I would have been her, I wouldn't have enjoyed him saying that at all. Because I just don't like when women in fiction are dependent from men. It's just not... I don't like it. I don't like it. Doesn't matter if it is emotional or financial dependence. Not cute in my opinion, but that is something very personal, and I know that most people will read it and think it's very cute. And so yeah, if that's something that would bother you, I don't think it was that annoying in the book. It was just very minor plot points. Nothing that played a big role in this book, but it still kind of triggered me. I did like the ending. It wasn't too over the top. I like happy endings, but I don't like it if they are like very overdone with, oh my god, she's now pregnant and there's going to be a proposal and he's doing this at this public space and her whole family is watching. I don't enjoy that. So I think it was a very good ending for a book. I don't think that spoiled anything, did it? What I still did enjoy about the book was the main character, Chloe. I think she was a very interesting main character, as I've said before. I like that it was also about their personal development and how they really try to become better people, to be in a relationship, because I think that's a very important thing that a lot of people don't think about when they enter a new relationship, that there has to be sometimes more personal work than the work of both of them together, if that makes sense. So both people have to deal with their own trauma first, and they can also deal with it together, but a new person in your life is not going to fix all of the problems you have. So I really enjoyed that they did work on themselves without expecting the other person to do all the work for them, and still giving each other moral support through that time. And so yeah, that sounds like something you might also enjoy. This book could be something for you. And I also started listening to the second book in the series, Take a Hint, Dani Brown, this morning, but I didn't get very far into it because it was just on my way to work, and that's not a very long way. So I think I'm maybe 10 minutes into it maximum, but I liked the audiobook narrator of this one a lot, and so far it's been really fun. I really like the entrance scene to the book. It felt very natural and the conversation just felt very well written. Even just the first 10 minutes of the book, I think I'm going to like the second one better than the first one. That makes me even more excited because the other book was good. And if this one's better, it's going to be maybe a 5-star read. I don't know. This is like, I'm 10 minutes into it. Why am I saying it's going to be a 5-star read? I don't have high expectations or anything, so we'll see if I really enjoy it that much. I will update you when I'm further into the book. Hello! It's Friday evening now, so I didn't update you yesterday because my mood has really been going up and down the whole week. It's really weird, but yesterday evening actually was a great evening. I went to dinner with a friend and that was lovely, but today I'm really exhausted. I don't really feel like reading at all. I think tonight I'm just going to watch Netflix, spend some time with a new series that I started, and then we'll see how the weekend goes. Otherwise, I don't want to pressure myself into reading if I'm not in the mood, so tonight I'm not going to read anything. But I can tell you about what I have read so far. I'm about 50% into Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and as I've said in the last clip, I really like it. It's very cute. It tells the story of Danica and Zaf. These two have kind of been friends for a while now. They work at the same place, so she is a professor or something like that. She definitely teaches at university and he is the security guard at the entrance there. She gets stuck in an elevator while there's a fire drill. Even though it's just a drill, she doesn't know that, so she's pretty scared. But he comes and he gets her out of the elevator and he practically carries her out of the building because she's a bit dizzy. This whole scene basically gets filmed, gets put on the internet, I think it's TikTok or Instagram, whatever. So the video goes kind of viral and Sophia gets recognized because he's actually a retired rugby player, I think. So his niece then tags his account, which is a charity organization that he has. I think it's a charity organization, or at least it's for a good cause where he works for free. He helps children to overcome their fears and deal with anxiety and stuff because he actually deals with anxiety himself. He wants to help them deal with their emotions, and that's actually a really cute part of the book that plays a big role because to help this charity, and it has gotten a lot more attention because of this social media going viral thing, Danica and him then decide to fake date, even though they are just friends. The logical thing that happens is that one of the two has the great idea that both of them could become friends with benefits for their whole fake dating time. So it's just, I think, a month that they have that they can spend together, and yeah, they obviously like each other because they are friends, and there's also this sexual tension between them. What I enjoyed most about the book so far is that both of them really support each other's careers and career goals. So, for example, Safir gets invited to a radio show and Danica then joins him and supports him there to help promote his charity. And she's preparing to be a speaker at a public event, which has to do with the research she's doing on the topic that she's teaching about. And he also supports her. He says that he's really interested in it. And yeah, that's really enjoyable. I love when it's not just about the characters being together in their own little bubble, but also supporting each other in the real world. Even though these two aren't a couple, they are just friends with benefits. You can slowly see how much they really like each other. I also like the side characters. So Safir's niece is studying at the university that Danica is teaching at, and she's actually in her course. And she's a really, really funny younger character in this book because the characters are more in their 30s, I believe, which is really refreshing. I like reading about people who aren't just at the beginning of their 20s. And yeah, this book is very different from the first one. Danica is more of a free spirit, while Chloe was very uptight in the beginning. And Danica is very open. She cares a lot about feminism, and she also has this spiritual side to her, even though she's very much into scientific facts as well and does her research. She still believes in a higher power, and also, I don't really know what it is, but she has an altar as well at her flat, and she's talking about stones that can do stuff for you, and she gives one of them actually to Safir, which is also really cool because he doesn't necessarily believe in what she's believing in, but he still accepts it because it's a very nice gesture and doesn't make fun of her or thinks it's weird. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting touch because it shows that people can have very different sides to them. But yeah, as I've told you, I'm not going to continue reading tonight. Tonight I'm just going to watch Netflix, so I will continue listening to the audiobook tomorrow and then hopefully also start with Eve Brown when I've finished Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Hello, welcome back. It's Saturday now, and actually it's already 3 p.m. and I didn't get anything done besides reading. But at least I finished reading Take a Hint, Dani Brown, so that's an accomplishment for today. My to-do list is very long, so yeah. But I was in the mood for reading, so I did that. I don't really remember which point I talked about last, but I think I haven't talked about the work dates that these two are having. So they are always meeting at work and having lunch together, and that's, I think, very cute. I love these scenes. They were some of my favorite scenes in the book. Very wholesome. And I also enjoyed how they worked out their feelings for each other in the end. But I have to say, the whole ending of the book was, in my opinion, the weakest part of the book in comparison to the beginning and the middle. In my opinion, these were very strong. The reason for that is that the conflict in the end didn't feel that important to me. I can't even really remember what it was about, even though I've just finished the book. That's also my fault, but anyway. It just felt like the stakes weren't that high when it came to fake dating. I mean, they set this rule for themselves that they're not going to fake date longer than 1 month. And then he had some commitment issues, so that's of course something that can hinder this whole thing, but it's not something that you can't work on. And it's not like an outside force was forcing them to not be together. So I didn't really see the point of the whole conflict. That part definitely could have been shorter, but it still had a very satisfying ending, and that made up for the part before that dragged out a little bit. So I'm going to give this book 4 of 5 stars, the same as Chloe Brown, but I did enjoy this one much more. And yeah, that's what I've been doing so far today. I think I might start reading Act Your Age Eve Brown, but I'm not sure if I will start it today or tomorrow morning because I still have a lot of things to do and then I still need to go grocery shopping and still have to cook. And yeah, as I've said, my to-do list is pretty long. I don't want to do it. I've been procrastinating the whole day. I've also spent 2 hours watching a summary of Crescent City. Not productive today, but that's okay. I'm just going to focus now and do all the things I need to get done. So I will update you when I have started reading Act Your Age, Eve Brown. It's Sunday and I'm about to start filming a video which is going to be my most disappointing books of 2022. So I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to give you a little update on what I've been reading today. I have started reading At Your Age, Eve Brown, and I really liked the beginning. I liked it even more than the beginning of Take a Hint, Dani Brown, which says something because I really liked that one as well. So what has happened so far? I'm not very far in. I think like half an hour maybe into the audiobook, or 1 hour at max. The whole book starts with the situation that Eve is forced to move out of her parents' house, and she also doesn't get an allowance from them anymore because they think she has become a spoiled brat. She doesn't keep any of the jobs that she takes on. She has changed her career so many times and they are like, you have to grow up, act your age, which it says in the title. So that's the thing. She's supposed to find a job that she can keep for a year, otherwise she won't get any money from them. And she also has to live on her own. I don't know if that has to start right away or whatever, but she has to live on her own and not live at her parents' house anymore. She just decides, I'm going to drive around and just look for any job and apply, as one does, obviously. So she drives through the country and finds this Airbnb that has a job offer as a chef, which she is kind of qualified for because she has been in charge of her friend's wedding and I think she cooked or baked there or something. So yeah, she can do it. So she goes to this job interview and there we meet Jacob. Jacob runs this Airbnb. It's his place. He also has his friend with him for the interview, but I always forget his name. Sorry. So Jacob is autistic and therefore he has some very specific things that he's looking for in his employees. None of the people that were there for an interview have met his needs, and she is kind of their last option. And they really need a new chef because there's this important thing coming up, blah, blah, blah. So she comes in and she's wearing like a slogan tee and he's like, oh my God, I don't like that. She's so unprofessional. I can't stand her. But then over the course of the interview, kind of likes her, but he really doesn't want her to be his employee because he thinks, no, she's too unprofessional. She doesn't take life seriously. She didn't even bring her CV and stuff. So the interview ends. She leaves. His friend is like, go after her. We need her. We need someone who can do it. Let's at least try. And when Jacob follows her outside, she hits him with her car. A pretty funny scene. Nothing bad happens. He has a concussion and that's it, but he also breaks his arm, so he can't cook anymore. He can't basically do anything at the Airbnb. So while Jacob is at the hospital getting checked, his friend is like, you watch the Airbnb, you take care of it, and then if everything is fine, you can have the job. And that's the start of the book so far. It's really funny because the two characters are very different from each other. I think they are going to come to terms with how the other character is and how to deal with them fairly quickly. But that's just what I think. I don't know if that's going to happen. So yeah, I'm excited for this. It's a very fast-paced and interesting start into the book. And now I'm going to film the video and then I'm going to go for a walk because I need to get out and get some fresh air. So yes, I will update you. I think I will have a lot of time to read today because I still have to cook, I have to go for a walk, and during this whole time I will be reading. So then I will update you when I'm about 50% into the book. See you then! Hi! So I just came back from my walk and My hair is a little bit destroyed, but whatever. It's not like I'm going anywhere today. I'm halfway into the book now. Act Your Age, Eve Brown, and they like each other. Oh, it's so cute. Right now, Eve is preparing like a friendship date for the two of them. So Jacob will be more comfortable with them calling each other friends. And there were so many good moments already. It's really awesome. I'm enjoying it so much, if you couldn't tell. I like it. But let me explain in the right order. Where we picked up was that Eve started working at the Airbnb. Now, she also had to move in because she doesn't have anywhere to live and she can't live with her parents anymore because it's too far away, and also they want her to become more independent. So there's that, and that's why she had to move into the Airbnb, and Jacob and her also have a shared bathroom, but she has her own room, so it's not like a shared bed situation or anything. And the next scene that I really liked was that both of them went to this kind of work-related event representing the Airbnb for this important thing that's coming up where they want to take part. And there was this guy who was really mean towards Jacob and making fun of him. And Eve basically shut him down, and that was such a good scene. It was so good. Also, at this event, they were eavesdropping at a couple that was having a fight, and it was so funny. It's on my walk. I was probably looking like a complete weirdo because I was walking, laughing out loud, but I don't care. I had fun. So while they are listening to this conversation, they were also talking about what they think about love and romance, and that was really interesting to hear their points of views. I think they also have kind of a similar view on life and on relationships, so that was very interesting. And there were more scenes after that where they get to know each other better and slowly start becoming more friendly towards each other. And then there's the scene where she actually asks him if they're friends. And he was a bit irritated by that for obvious reasons. But now she's trying to make him more comfortable with the idea. And that's where we're at right now. I hope this continues the way it is. And I like that it is so slow burn. I enjoy slow burn romances a lot. I like it much more than these kind of insta-lovey stuff, because then I'm much more invested, and I'm really invested in their story right now. So I will update you when I have something interesting to say or after I have finished the book. See you then! Hi and welcome to the end of this vlog. I just finished reading Eve Brown. It's Monday evening now. These 3 books took me 1 day longer than I expected, but that's totally fine. I don't mind that at all. I think I've said it before, I don't want to pressure myself with reading, and I really enjoyed this book. So I also didn't want to rush myself. I wanted to take my time with finishing it, and this book was just what I needed. It was so good. I liked it a lot. I liked the characters. They were my favorite couple out of the 3 books, and their story was also just so cute and perfect. I don't know how else to say it. I'm always a fan of these books that kind of have an escapist vibe, and this kind of had that because she was in a different town away from home. And what I also enjoyed about Eve's story was the way that it was about her becoming independent from her family and trying to make it on her own. That's a theme in books that I usually enjoy a lot, especially also in coming of age books. So this one wasn't that, but it still had these elements incorporated into the romance, and I thought it was very well done, especially towards the end. There were a few scenes that made me very happy. So this book is definitely going to be a 5 out of 5 star rating. For me, as I've said, it's my favorite out of all of the 3, and the ones before were 4 out of 5 stars, so this one definitely deserves a better rating, in my opinion. There were so many adorable scenes in this, but also the smut was good. It made me blush from time to time, so what I also preferred in this book in comparison to the other 2s is that I enjoyed the end scene much more, like the scene where all the tension gets resolved. I thought it was, of course, it's always kind of cheesy, isn't it? But in this case I didn't mind. Even though it wasn't the most realistic ending, it's still very cute. And what I always enjoy is when the family gets called out for their shit as well. When it's not just like, oh my god, she has to be independent now. No, this is a two-way street. Her parents have to let her be independent as well. That is something very important that I think a lot of people can relate to when growing up or when coming of age. That it can be hard for both sides to accept the fact that the child is growing up now. It can be hard for the child because you have to learn how to be independent and how to basically function as an adult and how to deal with your own stuff, how to take care of things. But also for the parents, it's sometimes very hard to let go and not be overprotective about your child anymore. I can really relate to that. That was also part of the book for me that made it a 5-star read. Okay, so now I'm going to also review the series as a whole. Did I like it? Obviously, I liked it. I did like all of the books. I thought the books improved over time, so the first one was good, definitely good, but the last one was just perfection. I would really recommend this series. That's not so surprising because it's very popular, but yeah, sometimes popular books can be still not good, so this one was good, at least in my opinion. Of course, everyone has different tastes. Another thing that I liked about this series was the representation in all of the books. It wasn't the same story repeated over and over. I think the author really tried to incorporate diversity into his series, but if an author does that with every single book and it's very prominent, I'm always a bit hesitant to, definitely not saying it's a bad thing, it's always a good thing, but I'm always hesitant to decide whether this is coming from the author because she is really behind the cause or as something that is good for marketing purposes. I think the booktube community has done a great job in making this more important and talking about diversity and also requesting it from authors and calling them out if they don't incorporate it. So that's definitely a good thing that authors are doing that a lot more nowadays. But it still makes me question the intentions of the author sometimes. I don't know, that just came into my mind when I was reading these books. Especially because for the second one I read some comments that were saying the representation of being a Muslim isn't done so well, or it wasn't that well researched, so that kind of made me question it. Because if you want to incorporate representation in your books, then please, please, please do it right and don't spread any misinformation about the stuff that you're talking about. Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. I know I'm probably being like overly critical here. Let's just give her the benefit of the doubt. What I did enjoy about the books a lot was the writing style. I think for me, Talia Hibbert is a very easy to read author. I listened to the audiobooks in English. I didn't have any problems with understanding what was going on. The writing wasn't too flowery or too poetic in my taste. So for the audiobooks, I did enjoy the last two. I didn't really like the audio narrator of the first one. That's totally subjective, just my taste. And yeah, I can definitely imagine picking up more of Talia Hibbert's books in the future. I haven't even looked up if she has written any other books yet. That's something I will keep in mind and I will look into after finishing this vlog. I hope you had a great time watching. I hope this was interesting to you and whether or not you have read the series already. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!